Spinoff did a great article on this. I really appreciated their... Was it Spinoff? Yes, it was Spinoff's article.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to Lyric Wawiri Smith, who's a politics reporter, and I need to remember to start doing that because we're all in the same ecosystem, and we should
Hell yeah.
be raising each other up. Not this fucker. This fucker can fuck off. So, an urgent hearing into the Regulatory Standards Bill saw lawyers representing more than 18,000 interested parties argue against the legislation that some fear is as dangerous as the Treaty Principles Bill. Fantastic article. Some really great statements from lawyers from around the country. Tell me this didn't come straight out of this fucker's mouth. The bill's stated aim is to improve the quality of regulation in New Zealand so regulatory decisions are based on principles of good lawmaking and economic efficiency. It sets a number of regulatory principles that all regulation should comply with an emphasis on personal liberty and property rights.
None of those principles.
Magenta, would you like to play a game?
Those bloody principles from them bloody berries.
Was it Crown or David Seymour that said that?
Right.
It's fucking David Seymour. Yeah, that was just something that just glaringly stood out to me. I think most of us know the general vibe of what the Regulatory Standards Bill was to do. It's attempting to pretty much strip Māori, essentially, out of everything. Any law, legislation that had already been passed that had reference to the Te Tiriti, that had reference to consulting with iwi, hapu, anything like that. This would have basically pulled all of that shit out, or it would have just overrid it, essentially. And that's what a lot of the lawyers said. There's some really... Tanya Waikato had some fantastic shit to say. Love it, it was good. But there's also something from the Crown to dispute from what a lot of the lawyers were saying. It's really interesting, which I'll read in a second. But I'm going to read mostly Tanya's stuff because I think what she said really encapsulates what Tanya. We all know to be, but now it's on record, which is great. So Tamaki legal lawyer Tanya Waikato, acting as counsel for Toitu Te Tiriti and multiple other claimants, appeared first before the tribunal with the message that the bill will create one of the most fundamental constitutional shifts in our legal history by elevating the RSB principles into a position of constitutionally superior law above treaty principles. Waikato said her claimants' core concerns with the bill came down to two prongs. The first being that her claimants are prejudiced, and likely to be prejudiced by the bill, as it will alter the constitutional arrangements between the Crown and Māori. Jeez, where did that come from? Māori, jeez. Oh god, the Seymour has taken over. And Māori under Te Tiriti by stealth and without the consent of by Māori as treaty partner. The second prong, Waikato said, was the fundamentally flawed consultation process for the bill. She said the failure to meaningfully engage with Māori was defective, deceptive, and inconsistent with Te Tiriti and the principles of Te Tiriti. These breaches are so deeply entrenched into the fabric of the RSB that they cannot be remedied by simply inserting a treaty principle into the RSB. Waikato told the tribunal, the entire framework as a concept must be rejected in its entirety. Waikato read evidence from senior law lecturer Carwyn Jones, who wrote that the Crown's actions in drafting this bill had breached the treaty in a matter that was as serious and as dangerous as the Treaty Principles Bill. That bill, alongside the draft proposals being considered by the tribunal, represented a combined legislative pincer movement, with the proposed legislation seeking to finish what the Treaty Principles Bill started. Beautifully eloquent.
Great way to sum it up, yeah.
Just a wrapping in a bow. Perfectly poignant. Fantastic.
Right.
I think that was Yeah, and then there's I highly recommend going and watching reading the spin-off article, because the whole thing is fantastic. It's some really good stuff. The only other thing I will point out here is the what the Crown appointed lawyer said.
Some bullshit, probably.
Pretty
So summarize
much.
Blah blah blah. Privilege marriage. Whatever the fuck. What is it? Privilege marriage? I don't know. Whatever that thing they say.
I think it's from here. Oh no, this thing's actually quite a bit longer than I thought. I did like this as well. Fire Legal's Jamie Ferguson told the tribunal that while the bill was concerned with equal rights, there was no provision to ensure the act would not adversely affect the rights and interests of iwi and hapu. Asked by tribunal member David Williams about his experience in representing Māori legal issues, Ferguson said he had witnessed a change from good faith engagement with Māori to simple box ticking. I personally have a malaise and melancholy about it all, Ferguson said. It's a tragedy. There's no other word for it. Crown lawyer Jason Veruhez said arguments the tribunal had so far heard often proceeded of an unsustainable degree of certainty as to the adverse effects of the bill. While it was correct that the Crown had not relied on expert evidence, it did not accept the opinions relied on by claimants, as it is in the nature of opinion evidence, not primary fact. That took me about 3 different reads to get my head around.
It is a bit of a jargon salad, isn't
That's lawyers. That's lawyer speak, if I ever heard it. Essentially, everything that the evidence against the bill that has been proposed by a lot of the lawyers to date at this particular hearing, there was no substantial evidence as to that what they were claiming could happen was going to happen. But as far as I understand, the reason that is because it would be unprecedented. Nobody knew what would happen. Everyone, predicted what would happen if Trump put tariffs in, or if he started enacting Project 2025, right? Everyone predicted it. They were like, these are like the far reaches of like the worst of the worst. And then lo and behold, it happened. But no one had seen that before. So it was just kind of like, we assume this is going to happen. We've got no evidence to say because it's so unprecedented.
Yeah,
and they
exactly.
were correct. This is the same as essentially what they're saying. I'll read this last little bit and then I'll get you to pop off there. I'm sure you've got plenty to say about this. What's the best bit to go do? Let's think about New Zealand has unique legislative powers which allow Parliament to pass laws more quickly than other developed countries, and the government has the authority to use these processes. That in itself is interesting. This, which goes back to the good faith argument. Williams asked Veruhez whether the Crown had acted in good faith by bringing the bill to Cabinet ahead of the hearing's original June 6 date, to which Veruhez replied the Crown had acted as directed, but acknowledged that the tribunal and claimants' need to mobilise in such haste has not been ideal. That's good faith, Williams asked. We would say, for the reasons that we've given, that the Crown has acted in good faith.
They would, of course they fucking would. Like they're going to say otherwise.
Oh. And then there's I'll read this last little bit. Because I think this is a nice little, I don't know if this ties the knot, but it's kind of depressing at the same. Lawyer Daryl Naden of Tamaki Legal responded to the Crown's comments at the end of the hearing, dismissing the claim that RSB would not confer or impose on any legal rights or duties or affect the validity of legislation. Naden highlighted a requirement of the RSB that all law be measured against it as evidence of its intended scope. Why all the effort, the expense, so on and so forth, the haste to introduce this to the House, the haste to enactment, all points to how important this legislation is to the Crown. The claimants, despite hearing from the Crown today, continue to maintain that what is sought here is an ending of this RSB folly for the sake of a decent society, for the sake of future relations. Good read. Good read.
I just... every time it feels... I feel like because obviously here at BHN we've been talking about this for quite some time now. Like, yeah, we have to keep talking about it, and there's more people that need to know about it, but my God, it feels like it's getting so heavy on these same kaupapa. But, I mean, there was actually a really good post by Te Pāti Māori that I think it's probably worth sharing at this time while we just kōrero about it, because I mean, they've gone through and they've actually done some really good communication, which we love to see. So obviously there's also the fact that the timeline. We saw this with Māori the brain's just forgotten the word. Authority. There we go. Māori Health Authority. Basically, they did the same thing. They tried to push it through. Waitangi Tribunal wasn't able to have their hearings in time. By the time it got onto the thing, they couldn't do anything about it. So we've already seen that they've gone ahead and done the same fucking play yet again, which is just unsurprising but frustrating. We know why the rush is, but it's the fact that this bill is designed to, undermine Te Tiriti, while it might not, outrightly, directly be, going to destroy Te Tiriti. Like, we have issues already where a lot of the things that are set in place through, say, RMAs and other policies like that aren't actually efficient and fit for purpose as it is. They need strengthening. So to just go and weaken any of them further is already going to put people on the back foot. But it's the fact that they know that if Te Tiriti is enshrined in these policies and in these bills, that they can't suit the agenda they want, where they just rape and pillage the land and the people to make as much fucking profit as they can. There is no reason that we have supermarkets making $1 million profit every day. Like, every fucking day. That's insane. And like we've seen from the Greens, budgets can be changed and made to actually serve the people. And yet we've got this current government that's just absolutely ramming all of these just horrendous bills. Like, I think I'm just getting frustrated at this point, because we have to have these civil conversations, and I have to think very diplomatically about the words that I say so that I'm palatable to those who would otherwise be prejudiced themselves. It is fucking infuriating to see the RSB bill push through. At the same time, we have the harshest punishments ever seen in our parliament passed down for something that should be a part of tikanga in our constitutional framework. It's just, I guess I'm just frustrated, and it's obviously not helping that I've just come off the back of seeing and being surrounded by Māori excellence, what we are capable and able to do when we are given the resources necessary. Like, we have amazing student support services that have gone and created a sustainable living building that is now able to use solar power and access the grey water in order to make sure that the harm to the part of the earth that it lives on is as small as possible. There's some amazing things that are in not only just our culture, but what that culture then kind of produces in terms of research and areas of study. And yet we have to just fight about these stupid fucking specifics of principles and treaties that were supposed to be honored nearly 200 years ago. And yet we're here going, please just give us the bare minimum. Like, as it is, we've needed more. Like, Waitangi Tribunal, amazing, great, but it needs more power. It should have more capability to actually implement the recommendations that it gives. But no, it doesn't, because we need it to be stronger. And it's just, it's frustrating. I hate these guys. They suck. And just, it's getting very hard to not just want to, I don't know, use the cunt word and swear and get mad because
that was too soft on the C.
Oh,
sorry. Try
right.
again.
Sorry. Can't. I don't know. I can't quite put the hard K like Brooke can do. Maybe it's because I'm not a racist.
You hold. Yeah, it's probably what.
Wow. Yeah, I mean,
was going to say that when he made that comment. He's like, that's why, you know why she's so good at the
She's had practice. And I mean, it's just infuriating to act like, oh, people want extra privileges and blah, blah, fucking blah. No, we just live in an Aotearoa that is not what it was supposed to be from the beginning. And it's just, it's so infuriating to see. And this is the worst part is we're not even up to fucking Nintendo's turn yet. This is just the first half, guys. How high are our blood pressures getting, everyone? I think we might need to all invest in some Fitbits to keep an eye on our fucking blood pressures and start making more regular GP visits.
Well, if you can afford them, yeah.
Wow, you know what? So true. So fucking true. But no, we can't have healthcare and dentistry for people. That's just asking for too much. Because what would the landlords do?
I know.
Won't someone please think of the landlords?